Alright, this is Amazing Nate Matthews. You're listening to 360 Wrestling Fanatic Radio. Now that's amazing.
Tonight on 360 Wrestling Fanatic, I will recap last night's Impact Wrestling special Final Resolution and tonight's WWE Friday Night SmackDown. That is all coming up next, right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic.
This is Leah Von Dutch.
Alright, this is Amazing Nate Matthews.
This is the Ace High, Cameron Scott from Clash Wrestling.
This is the mad scientist, Tommy Tresnick.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world's most wrestling wrestler. My name is Matt Allen, and you're listening to 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Keep it locked in.
Hey wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. It's a Friday night, December 20th, 2013. Thanks everybody for listening to tonight's show. And like I said at the top, I'm going to start off by recapping last night's special presentation of Impact Wrestling Final Resolution 2013. And first, we see one of the superstars that will be competing in the Dixieland match to become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Magnus. And then we see Jeff Hardy, and both of them cut promos in the ring. And our very first match of Final Resolution is a 2 out of 3 falls match. And it is Kurt Angle taking on the It Factor Bobby Roode. Awesome match between these two great wrestlers. Very good way to start off Final Resolution. And Bobby Roode wins this one 2 falls straight. And when we take a commercial break and then we come back and Kurt Angle is in the back being interviewed, and he says that he wasn't out wrestled but he was outsmarted, and he says he's going to go home and spend the holidays with his family, and he does not know what he is going to do next. Next up, we see Eric Young, and he calls out Joseph Park, and he tells him once again that he is Abyss, and he says he's going to prove it to him, and he says the first way is that next week there's going to be a Monsters Ball match. Joseph Park versus the Bad Influence, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian on Impact Wrestling. And then the second way, he gives him some presents. And the first one is a steel chair, then a bag of thumbtacks, and then barbed wire. And then the last thing, he goes under the ring and pulls out Janice. And then Joseph Park gets back in the ring, and he agrees to the Monsters Ball match against Christopher Daniels and Kazarian next week. So that match will take place next week on Impact Wrestling. And we see Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy in the back. And Feast or Fired is next. And the first one to open up their case is DJ Zema Ion. And he gets a shot at the TNA X Division Championship in his briefcase. Now it is time for Gunner to open up his briefcase, and Jeremy Borash asks him if he gets the tag team title shot, if he will choose James Storm to be his tag team partner, and he says he will. And Gunner gets the TNA World Heavyweight title match. And it is down to the final two, Chavo Guerrero Jr. versus Ethan Carter III, EC3. And Sting comes in and he makes an offer to EC3 for a match where if Sting beats him, he will get the case. But EC3 does not accept that offer, and they open up their cases, and Ethan Carter III gets the shot at the TNA World Tag Team Championships, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. is now fired from TNA Impact Wrestling. And Sting is disappointed, and he tries to console Chavo Guerrero, and he says he has nothing to say to Dixie Carter. And next up, we have Knockouts action. Gail Kim and Lady Tappa taking on ODB and the returning Madison Rayne. And ODB and Madison Rayne get the win, and Madison Rayne, in her first match back since having her baby, gets the pin on TNA Knockouts champion Gail Kim. A very impressive return. And now it is time for the Impact Wrestling Final Resolution main event of the evening. It's Dixieland for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And it is Jeff Hardy versus Magnus. And first, Hardy comes out first and cuts a promo, and he talks about the meeting he had with TNA President Dixie Carter. And he said if he made the deal with Dixie that she would own him, and he tells Dixie that she can take her money and stick it. And then Dixie Carter comes out, makes her way to the ring, and she says that Hardy needs her a lot more than she needs him. The match starts, and then during the match we see EC3 on the stage, and then at one point Magnus tries to escape the cage, and then Ethan Carter III stops him, and then Jeff Hardy gets to the top of the cage, but instead of climbing out, he connects with the Whisper in the Wind off the top of the cage. That was very impressive, and it was awesome to see such a move from Jeff Hardy. But, well, we've seen things like that from him before, but a lot of times it costs him, like at the Survivor Series 2001 in the match against Team 3D, then known as the Dudley Boys. He tried that. Instead of escaping, he tried the Swanton, but ended up going through a table. But this time, it worked out for him. And Rockstar Spud, jumped ahead of myself a little bit. Then Hardy escapes the cage, takes the ladder up the ramp, and goes to climb for the championship. And then Rockstar Spud runs out and knocks Hardy off the ladder. Hardy takes a big bump off the ladder onto the stage, and Magnus climbs the ladder, makes his way up, and grabs the TNA title and becomes the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And he celebrates with Dixie Carter, EC3, and the Chief of Staff, Rockstar Spud. And that was Impact Wrestling Final Resolution. I thought it was a very good show. I've been enjoying these pay-per-view quality specials that they have been doing on Spike TV. This one was taped, but I still thought it was a good show. And Magnus becoming the new TNA World Champion, I don't mind. And interested to see what will happen next. Of course, all the Impact Wrestlings up until January are taped, and the next live episode will be the special presentation of Genesis. Now, let's move on to tonight's WWE Friday Night SmackDown. And we start off the show with Randy Orton, and he cuts a promo, and then he's interrupted by John Cena. And Cena tells him he took the easy way out on Monday by giving Daniel Bryan the low blow and getting disqualified. And then Daniel Bryan makes his way to the ring. And then The Shield and CM Punk also come out. And then Vicky Guerrero makes a 6-man tag team match for later on in the night. It will be The Shield taking on John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk. Our first match of the evening sees Jack Swagger of the Real Americans with Zeb Coulter and Antonio Cesaro in his corner, taking on the WWE Intercontinental Champion Big E Langston. Big E Langston gets the win following the big ending and to defeat Jack Swagger. Divas action is up next. Tamina Snuka versus Brie Bella, and AJ Lee is on commentary for this one. Brie Bella gets the win, defeating Tamina Snuka. Drew McIntyre versus Sin Cara, and Sin Cara defeats the 3MB member Drew McIntyre. And our next match is the former Tons of Funk tag team going at it one-on-one. Brodus Clay versus Sweet Tea Tensai. During the match, we hear the Tons of Funk music, and Xavier Woods comes out with the Funkadactyls to distract Brodus Clay, and then Tensai rolls him up to score the pin and get the win. So your winner, Tensai. And we have tag team action up next on SmackDown. The WWE Tag Team Champions Cody Rhodes and Goldust, now being known as the Brotherhood, taking on the Wyatt family in a non-title match. And the Wyatt family defeat the Tag Team Champions Cody Rhodes and Goldust and go to attack them after the match, and Daniel Bryan makes the save for Rhodes and Goldust. Damian Sandow is in the ring now, and he cuts a promo on about how this Monday night on Raw Christmas, as the Bad Santa, he will cancel Christmas. And The Miz comes out and he says, where I come from, we love Christmas and we love Santa Claus. And then this leads to a one-on-one match. Damian Sandow versus The Miz, and Sandow gets the win, defeating The Miz. And go to a commercial break, and when we come back, Fandango and Summer Rae are in the ring. I always love seeing Summer Rae. And Fandango takes on Kofi Kingston tonight, and he is victorious. And we see in the back, Renee Young tries to interview Daniel Bryan, but he is attacked by the Wyatt family, and then they throw him off some kind of loading dock, it looks like, in the back. And when we come back, it is main event time on Friday Night SmackDown, and it is now a 3-on-2 handicap match. The Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns taking on CM Punk and John Cena. The Shield come out first, and then CM Punk and John Cena. And then after Punk and Cena make their entrance, Vicky Guerrero comes out and announces what we already know, that it will be a handicap match. And Punk and Cena end up getting the win via a disqualification. And the Shield does the triple power bomb on Cena. And then they attack Punk some more. And Big E Langston comes out to make the save and clears the ring of the Shield. He has a stare down with the big man of the Shield, Roman Reigns, and Punk sneaks back in the ring with a chair to back up Langston, and the Shield retreats and goes up the ramp. And that is tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Not a bad episode at all. I enjoyed some parts of this show tonight. I enjoyed the main event, the 3-on-2 handicap match. The Shield taking on Punk and Cena. Thought everything else on the show was pretty good too. It was not bad at all. And now, a little while ago, there was some news that broke that is pretty big news, actually. And I'm going to read this from WrestlingNewsSource.com. And it could be possibly that Batista's WWE return has been announced. I'm sure as of right now, this is not official. This is just a rumor, so this doesn't mean that it's going to happen. But the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas is advertising on Sunday, February 16th at the WWE live event that is a house show. Will feature the special return of the Animal Batista. There have been rumblings on Batista coming back. Big E Langston stated in an interview that there had been discussions. Now seemingly a house show event in Vegas is the next step. There's nothing to suggest that this is anything more than just a simple house show appearance. However, you would have Batista wouldn't just be appearing in a WWE ring 1 month before WrestleMania for a reason. So, it's also unlikely and unclear that he will wrestle, but still, an appearance is an appearance. So, who knows if this is true or not, but you never know. We could see the Animal Batista return to the WWE, which I really would not mind seeing at all. I think it would be good to see Batista once again in a WWE ring. And that is all for tonight's episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thanks once again, everybody, for listening. And remember, you can like 360 Wrestling Fanatic Radio on Facebook, And follow the show on Twitter at 360 Fanatic Radio. And subscribe to the show on iTunes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow 360 Wrestling Fanatic on Instagram and Pinterest. If you have any questions or comments for the show, you can email at lb360wrestlingfanatic@aol.com. And I haven't updated it much lately, but we also have a message board. That is at 360wrestlingfanatic.proboards.com. Feel free to go there and post about anything you want, anything going on in the world of pro wrestling, whether it's WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, or Indies. That is 360wrestlingfanatic.proboards.com. And I'm going to head out. That is all for tonight. And hopefully we'll have more episodes up very soon right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Remember, watch all wrestling and support the indies. I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.
Ladies and gentlemen, this